now, time to chat to a man who quit his day job after amassing hundreds of thousands of followers online in his pursuit for a perfect pint.
Yeah, it's a tough job, yeah, but someone's got to do it. Yeah. Please welcome Daragh Curran, a.k.a. the Guinness Guru, to the show.
How are you?
Good.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm very good. This is pretense. This is my TV debut, so I'm
is it?
try my best.
You're very welcome. You're
Ma'am,
very
if you're
welcome.
watching, I won't curse. She always goes mad about the cursing in the videos on YouTube. I won't curse here,
Good.
so
Good.
Well, speaking of which, your channel has got millions of views, tens of thousands of followers, but I'm wondering, how did your pursuit for the perfect pint begin?
So it's a very simple story. I have a friend back in Ashburn, a guy called Colin O'Maylod, who said he sent me a video of this guy called Dave Portnoy, who runs Barstool Sports over in America. He does loads of different things, but he does these one-bite pizza reviews, goes all over Manhattan. It's just a camera and him, and he's just eating the pizza, talking, and you would think that sounds boring, but because he's quite an entertaining guy, not saying I'm an entertaining guy, but because he is, it just works. So he's like that, millions of people watching him, and this guy, Colin O'Maylod, back in Ashburn, shout out Coolsy if you're watching, he just said, because I was doing other random stuff on YouTube, but just by myself, and he said, this could work with Guinness, just because people are so into Guinness, always, you're in the pub, everyone's comparing the Guinness, like, I don't think you get it with other drinks, but with Guinness, it's like, no, my local is better than your local, and talking about all different glass and all that sort of stuff. So I just started doing it. At the start, the traction was literally zero, and then it was just like individual pubs in Dublin, and then started doing it town by town. It was going well. Then the big CO dropped, then I couldn't do anything, and then got into sort of TikTok and stuff like that. But that's the foundation story.
So were you kind of always a Guinness drinker then? I mean, why were you the guy that he called?
Like, yeah, the word Guinness Guru is definitely like a bit dodgy, because I wouldn't even say now I'm a guru. When I started, I definitely wasn't a guru. It just sounded the best. So it was like the Guinness fella, pint reviews, the Guinness guy, Guinness Guru. I thought that's a bit over the top, but why not? It just sounded good.
It sounds good, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It sells. That's why I'm here.
So, yeah, well, there you go. But, and at the time you were working as a decorator, right? So how do you, I mean, you go from, I'm guessing what was a secure enough job as a paint. You can't get, by the way, a decorator anywhere these days. Like, they're hard to get.
I'll get you a decorator.
And then, I'm sure you will.
I know.
But now you're doing this for full time.
Yeah, so I was painting with my good friend Gav, shout out GKPD, for about 5 years in my hometown in Ashburn, and it was great because he was always very understanding. He knew I was always off doing stupid stuff with my camera and stuff like that, so he kind of knew the crack. And then I came to him middle of last year. I said, look, I think I went down to, it was grand because I didn't have to like do the big jump and quit. I literally went down to say 3 days and then went down to 2 days, stuff like that. So it was actually fine. It wasn't that much risk. But yeah, October last year, I was doing that for about 5 years. October last year, started making a little bit of money, nothing crazy, a little bit of money just from kind of like YouTube sponsorships and stuff like that, and YouTube views. I just said, screw it, I'll go for it. And luckily enough, it's going to work out, and say 9-10 months later, it's all going grand.
Incredible.
Still not loaded, but it's going all right.
Getting there, though. Getting there.
No, not getting there. As an Irish person, you have to be very
Of course,
humble.
Son is dying.
Who does he think he is on the telly?
Got a big head.
With his pint of Guinness and all that money with the followers.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. I mean, fair play to you. Like, how amazing. So, do you know how sometimes in restaurants, when like a food critic comes in and the restaurant is on like a hustle and they're do pubs, because your videos have like millions of views, do pubs get like that when you come in to like, oh no, there's a Guinness Guru? You
would think that, but again, because it's in Ireland, like, a lot of them just don't care, like, but sometimes you find with the younger, like, I went to the Croke Park Hotel recently, and there was a young lad there, I'd say he was literally about 20, and he was just, I approached the bar and he didn't see me for ages, and just as I got to the bar, he was cleaning the glass, he looks up, he goes, oh, and I was like, well, and then him and like three other young people were like scrambling around trying to pour the pint, and I was just sitting over the far corner. I could hear them, but I was just sitting there laughing to myself. They literally poured it like 2 times down the sink. That's the wrong glass. No, there's not enough dome on the top. You have to re-pour it. And I kind of felt like, well, at least they're trying. Yeah, but then on the other hand, I also like to get the same pint that the normal person will get as well. So it's always a bit of a conflict with that. But yeah, the odd time it does feel like it's the big bad wolf is in town, and I'll be lying if I said I don't kind of in a weird way, enjoy it when I rock in.
Well, obviously, and on that note, like you do rock into the bars, especially the smaller bars. I'm guessing around the pubs around the country. You rock in. I'm trying to picture this now. You stroll into the bar, you order a pint, you go down to the stool, you sit down, chilling out like that, waiting for the pint to come.
Oh, I'm definitely like that.
You're one of these. I've got your sauce.
Finest.
You're one of these, and then the pint comes. Sits down, and then the camera comes out, and then the ring light comes out, and then it's hit record.
It's not that sort of operation.
You bring all that equipment.
What kind?
You're making it sound like I'm trying to mug them off. I go in, I say, how's it going? Actually, at the very start, I was too afraid to say anything. I was just like, I'm just doing a video, and I go out the front and do it. But I'd say when I go in now, maybe 50, 60%, that's kind of going up and up as the months go by. But I'd say 50, 60% of them will just go, Jays, yeah, pint of Guinness, I presume, yeah. Or I'll start the spiel and they're like, oh, yeah, we know the crack. Then the other 30, 40%, I go in and I say, I'm very upfront and I say, how are you? I have a YouTube channel called the Guinness Guru. I'm going to sit in the corner, rate a pint, I'll be camera there. I'll try not to get anyone else in the video. And 90% of the time, it's just some out audience like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. So it's definitely not the ring light out and trying to get all the attention.
The whole operation. Well, we will do drink responsibly. I'm sure that you obviously do when you're doing all your experiments and stuff. Tell us, what makes a perfect pint?
Oh, yeah. So there's kind of, you can go with the pint, but then for me, if it's a perfect pint, but it's in a pub I don't like, then it's not the perfect pint. So you're talking, you go in, old man pub, preferably fire on, even if it's warm outside, but old man pub, fire on, no music, there's pubs in Dublin, like there's no music, no TVs, no nonsense. You go in there to chat. That kind of sets a good environment or atmosphere or whatever. And then pint-wise, I won't bore you, I know we've only about 7 minutes here, but you've got the glass. I prefer the old-style glass. I think most Guinness drinkers do. Guinness brought out a glass about 10 years ago. Still, people like myself call it the new style glass. I know all the old lads are like, don't give me that glass. They'd give it back in a pub. And then temperature, all that sort of stuff is important. And then for me, a big thing is the dome. I call it the domage on top, #trademark. Dome on top, because some people will pour the pint and it's just like flat across. And the odd time I've actually seen people scrape it across with the knife, and I'd actually have a heart attack. But I like when it comes over, because it's so thick and creamy, it can come over the top and you can actually carry it and it won't spill, unlike, say, a lager. So big dome on the top. And then when you drink it, it has to have the rings on the way down, the shtick, as I call it, another trademark. Only joking, it's not. But yeah, so Guinness, it's one of those things where it has to look as good after as before.
Okay, so there's a lot to it. There's a lot
It does sound that there. I mean, we could get into the technicalities a bit, and actually, I bet you it's a lot.
Head down the road and we'll get into the technicalities.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.